As I have been speaking to some of you individually regarding fully underwritten, I hate teaching it in a group just because. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to kind of give you my spiel on fully underwritten policies because there are people in the alliance that don't write fully underwritten at all, as evidenced by Steve Bowery in Hawaii. He just stays away from it. He's been with us for like 4 or 5 years and been a consistent 6-figure income earner. Just doesn't do it. And the reason why fully underwritten is kind of a 4-letter word, fully underwritten, a 4-letter word, is because you only have a 45% placement rate with fully underwritten policies. Okay. So it's really a flip of a coin, quite honestly, to write fully underwritten. Now, we try to convince the client. Well, here's what I do. I try to really tell them if they are looking for a large amount of insurance, sometimes we don't, really kind of have a choice. Like if they're looking for $1 million policy, obviously we can't do like 4 simplified issue. I mean, we could, but then, usually it's someone who is older and they're usually comparing us to other companies. So when we're playing the comparison game with other companies, that puts us in a position to have to compete. And so when you're put in a position to compete, then Mutual of Omaha is typically our cheapest term. I understand that Transamerica, I've never written it myself, but Transamerica has some that are competitive. But like I said, it's a flip of a coin. I tell the client it's a flip of a coin. We only get half of these approved. And, so I want you to know that should you be declined with this or it gets rated up to the point you don't want to pay, I don't want you to get mad at me. Okay, honestly, that's what I tell them. Don't get mad at me. Okay, I want you to understand that the insurance company is going to check your blood out for anything they can find in it. They're also going to check your urine out for anything they can find in it to rate you up, to make you pay more money based on your blood and your urine situation. They're also going to take your height and weight, your real height and weight, okay, not what's on this lead. Okay, typically what I've found is that most people don't weigh themselves every day, so they're typically underestimating their weight on these forms by 10 to 20%. So a lot of times their real height and weight puts them into a higher category that they were not expecting. The other thing is certain medical history, they may ask for medical records on you, and typically 90% of the time that any time that they've asked for medical records, they found a bunch of other things in your medical history that will decline you. So those are all the reasons why I only have half of these go through. Now, Mr. Client, if you think that it's not going to be a problem, I'd be more than happy to write you a fully underwritten application, but understand that I have other products that will cover you, but I don't want you getting mad at me. So you promise you won't get mad at me if it should get rated up or declined, okay? And that you'll give me a chance to put you into another product. Is that okay? Gang, I'm serious. It's a 45% placement rate. All right, and Yuval, Andrew Peters, you guys know what I'm talking about. You're fully underwritten. You guys have only got about half of them placed, right? Andrew can say amen to that. Okay, so now, so I'm kind of suggesting to you how you got to be totally pessimistic. Okay, and then when you quote the rates, you may show them preferred. But I would suggest you close them at standard health rating. Like say, okay, look, I know you're healthy. You're healthy as a horse. You do marathons, Ironman competition. You get your blood tested every week, and you're on, you're super healthy. I know you are. Okay, but let's just pretend like they find something wrong with you and that they rate you at a standard health rating. Okay. Now, by the way, I'll do a risk assessment too, and I'll find out what their rating is based on everything they've told me, and I will go with the worst possible. Like if Gloria at Underwriting at Foresters or Mutual of Omaha tell me, yeah, table 2, if everything looks good, table 2, then I'm going to quote them a table 4 rating. If they say, yeah, preferred, standard plus preferred, I'll quote them at a standard rating. And I'm going to close them at the low rate. I say, okay, Joe, I know you're healthy. If I know farmers quoted you this awesome rate, but you know what? That's a bait and switch rate. You know what a bait and switch rate is? No, what's that? Well, here's what a bait and switch rate is. All these insurance agents out there, they do the bait and switch rating thing where they quote you the best possible rate based on nothing, not based on your health, just based because they want to do the bait and switch. So what they do is they get your blood and urine, they make you fill out an application, they promise you your rate's going to be $25 a month at the Ironman Healthy rate, the best rate, which, by the way, Mr. Client, only 4% of the population actually qualify for the Preferred Plus rate. So they're going to quote you at that rate knowing full well that you probably won't get it, but they want to do the bait and switch. They make you go through all these hoops to get underwritten. And then when it comes back at $75 a month, they'll look at you and say, oh, I'm sorry. They did your blood and urine. They found stuff in your medical history, your family history. I had no control. This is the best that the insurance industry is going to do for you. So and rather than having to go through all this again with anyone else, just sign this amendment here, and it's $75 a month. Well, the client will throw the guy out of the house, or the client will. Some clients will, Mr. Client, Joe, I'll call him Joe. Joe, some clients will just sign off, resign to the fact that that's the best they can do, or whatever. So that's a bait and switch rate. So I know that you think you're healthy. I would love to think you're healthy, but I'm going to show you what the rate could possibly be at a standard health rating. And then let's just pretend you get that rate, and then let's just see if we can get you protected with your family. If it's a better rate, man, that's icing on the cake. But let's see if we get you in the rate you can afford every month. Should it be this rate? Okay? And then I show them the pessimistic rate, table 4. If they told me table 2, or standard rating, if they told me preferred, even if they say standard, we could do standard. I might do table 2. Do you see what I'm getting at? I'm trying to mitigate the 50% placement rate by you managing clients' expectations. Okay. Remember, I am very reluctant to, because I don't want you to think that it's okay to write fully underwritten on everybody you run into. I'm just talking about those few situations where you got to be, which I call go to guns, and you got to get your client covered with a rate to be competitive with another company. But you do it smartly, and you tell them what those other companies are doing the bait and switch rate, okay? And then what you do is you preset the blood and urine test. In other words, you tell the client, okay, Mr. Client, your blood and urine is the best in the mornings. And so today is Monday. Tell you what, are you going to be around Saturday morning, say between 8 and noon? Or what time do you get up Saturday morning? 8 o'clock? Okay, great. Let's see if we can get you a nurse to come in and do your height and weight and your blood and urine, et cetera, and ask you a bunch of questions Saturday morning. Are you both, if it's on both of them, are you both going to be here Saturday morning? And they say, yeah, we can be here. Okay, so I want you to block out between 8 and noon or when you wake up. Remember that you have to fast 8 hours prior to your paramed exam. And so that's just water only, so that's why the morning is also a good time. Oh, by the way, let me say this too, Joe, Mr. Client, that a lot of people say they're non-smokers here, and the non-smoking rate really applies if you haven't been a smoker for a year. Now, I don't know if you smoke cigars or if you sneak a cigarette here and there, but I promise you that if you've done any tobacco, chewing tobacco, any tobacco products or nicotine products in the last 45 days, it's going to show up in your blood and urine test. So, when we get to the question about tobacco, non-tobacco, it really, no kidding, they're going to find it. And the secondhand smoke argument doesn't work with insurance companies. The secondhand smoke argument, the detail in the lab tests, they know when you're, when you've been using nicotine. Okay, so nicotine gum, nicotine patch, nicotine creams, nicotine pizza. If you're taking nicotine pizza, it's going to show. I mean, I'm just joking with them, right? Nicotine brownies, whatever. No, but gang, I'm serious. I'm like hitting upside the head because I'm expecting it to get declined. I'm expecting to get rated up. I'm expecting bad things to happen. And so this is how you manage your clients' expectations. Okay? The more you talk about it, the more it's like, and I hope to scare them into not doing it so that we write them a simplified issue. Okay? And then what I do is Exam 1, you can sign up as an Exam 1 portal through the exam1.com. You can sign up as an agent, and then you can order the paramed exam electronically. And it's pretty simple and easy. And then you can write in the appointment that you preset for them. Because if you don't preset it, then you're at the mercy of them trying to get a hold of the client to book it, and then it could be 3 weeks later. Know what I mean? So you don't want to be subject to the client and the paramed exam company trying. Because you remember how hard it was for you to get a hold of the client, let alone a nurse trying to get a hold of the client. That's why you've got to do presets. All right, and then you got to monitor that the exam was done, and so on, because sometimes they miss the appointment or something screws up. Okay, so are you guys understanding this?
Alex, do you want to send us by email and the address for the website to sign up for the medical exam ability to sign up for?
It's Exam 1, the number 1 spelled out, exam1.com, I believe. And I can email you the link so that you can sign up for it. You sign up as a broker, and it's super easy to do it. It's very actually, here it is. It's https://portal.exam1.com, and then just sign up with them.
And that will work with all the companies or just specific ones?
Pretty much all the companies. Okay. So
do you know what kind of information do we need to give them except for the client's name and address?
Everything.
Okay.
In fact, I'd recommend if you have a copy of the application, scan it and upload it too. Social Security number, address, everything. They want everything. The what you wrote, how much the face value is, what company, and the company you choose. You use United of Omaha Brokerage is the company. So let me know if you have any problems with it. Again, this is not going to be a public MP3. I'm gonna definitely edit the snot out of this, but y'all understand what I'm saying? Am I sounding pessimistic about fully underwritten, gang? Anyone have any questions on it? Like, ask now, because I'm not going to bring this up for probably another 5 years.
No, hey, Alex, I understand what you're saying, but like the policy that I wrote, the fully underwritten was the only way I could go. So it really wasn't a choice. I would have liked to have done a simplified issue, but it just wouldn't work out. Well,
I'm not asking you to apologize. I'm just telling you better do it like this. I promise you, if you don't do the things I'm telling you here on Fully Underwritten, you have a 75% chance of it not going through, because they will throw you out of the house. When you call them up and tell them that their rating went up, you're not gonna close it. But if you do what I'm telling you, you have a better chance. Okay.
Okay. That's not a
I know
problem.
y'all. I know, and I'm saying that sometimes you do have to. You know, if they're looking for $1 million to key manage insurance, what are you going to do? You're not going to write 4 simplified issue policies, because the guy's already talking probably to another company. And even if you should place 4 simplified issue policies for $250,000, some other agent's going to say, "What? You're paying $555 a month? Man, I can get you some for $150 a month for a 10-year $1 million term." And then the guy cancels all 4 of those simplified issues. So, look, I'm not suggesting that you not be competitive. I'm just suggesting that if you're going to go this route, you freaking better do it the way I'm telling you, okay? Like, I get hot about this because there's stupid ways to write Fully Underwritten. There's a million stupid ways to do it. I'm telling you the one right way to do it. Do y'all understand that? I'm not getting on anyone's case for going Fully Underwritten. I'm just getting on your case for not doing it the way I'm teaching it.
Alex?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Karen. Can I add one thing that I didn't hear you mention that happened on one of my clients with a Fully Underwritten?
Please.
He knew he was having his paramed the next morning, so he did his fast, but he also had a beer with dinner the night before. So he is paying extra for all 10 years of his policy because he had a beer the night before.
They rated him because of alcohol?
Yes.
You know what? I would fight that one.
He
I
had
would
to do
fight
the
underwriting.
alcohol questionnaire, and he had to. It's been in place a few years now, but he didn't get as good of a rating as we were looking for because he had the alcohol in his system.
Let me ask you this. What did he answer on the paramed exam? That he didn't drink alcohol at all?
I don't remember because, like I say, it was a few years ago. But I just remember when the question came back to me, I'm like, what? And then he told me, well, yeah, I did have a beer at dinner the night before.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gave you the breakdown of what you had to follow. And I sometimes extend those things even a day longer or 12 hours longer, or, you know, I want them to get the best possible answer.
Yeah. That's a great point. Here's another one is I had when someone has a blood pressure reading at the day of when they do it, if the blood pressure reading's high, they're going to rate them on the blood pressure reading that day. Okay, so they may say that they're healthy as a horse, but it can knock them down from preferred to standard plus. It can knock them down a whole rating because their blood pressure is higher than what they think it is. So that's another one to talk to them about. Okay. Yeah, these are complicated. These are way more complicated. Now you have to act like an insurance agent, a smart one instead of a stupid one. A stupid one overpromises the rates. Actually, the stupid ones do the bait and switch thing, you know. But so, does anyone have any questions about that at all? White coat syndrome. It is, Daryl. The white coat syndrome. I have that too. Like if I go in the doctor's office, I'm on high blood pressure medication. If I go into a doctor's office, my blood pressure will go up a little bit. I just don't like that stupid cuff where they like squeeze that thing like your arm's going to pop off, and then my blood pressure just goes up because of that stupid cuff thing. Anyway. Oh, my gosh. So I'm sorry. I got on my soapbox. I don't mean – yes, I do mean to get on my soapbox. Okay, so I'm not going to apologize for what I just said because it's true. So there's a smart way to do it. So I'm teaching you guys a smart way to do it. so you don't run into situations. But I don't want you to get weak in the home, because there's a tendency in the home to get weak knowing that you're smarter on fully underwritten. And when you're scared about a rate, when someone has a higher rate because of simplified issue, you start getting weak where you're thinking you could fall back on fully underwritten. So that's why I don't try to teach this publicly, because our brand new agents on the line are thinking, what's this fully underwritten stuff? I've never heard of fully underwritten. It's like, please don't learn it. I'm kind of kidding, but so I'd rather do one-on-one teaching you this for each person that has a situation that does require it. But, here you go. So all of you out there that, run in situations, now you know how to do it, and it's all about managing expectations, okay? The other thing, remember, before we ask questions on the questionnaire, we want to tell them, and this is what you do for every single one of your applications. We got to tell them, hey, Joe and Mary, look, okay, now we got to ask you the health questions, and let me say this. You know that everything about you is on a database, right? Medical records, everything is on a database. So what these companies do when we're filling out these questions, what they're going to do is they're going to match what the database says about you. So in their mind, the database is always right. So if there's anything that you leave out or forget or you're not accurate on, they're going to assume that you're trying to mislead them. And we certainly don't want to do that, do we? So we need to be as accurate as possible. Okay, you're saying as accurate as possible. In other words, you're telling them not to lie their butts off. You're telling them to be as accurate as possible. Okay, we need to be as accurate as possible. So when it should, so everything matches up with the database. Does that make sense, Joe and Mary? Okay, are you guys doing that? I mean, that's like a key to placement persistency, is asking stuff like that. The other thing, have you ever smoked or used nicotine tobacco in the past? You ask the question like this: when was the last time you used any nicotine or tobacco products? How long ago? Don't ask it, have you ever used tobacco products or nicotine products? It's when was the last time you used cigarettes, cigars, nicotine, or tobacco products, or nicotine cigarettes, or vapor cigarettes, or anything related to nicotine brownies. When was the last time you had any of that? Like, I'm not joking, gang. You got to ask it in a very assumptive, assuming that they are smokers, because you got to smoke them out, pun intended. All right.
I have a question.
Okay, so I hope y'all are understanding this part. Oh my gosh. So probably what I'll do is I'll copy this part of the recording, and then anytime anybody has this, I'll have them listen to this rant, the fully underwritten rant. Look, I've been in this thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question about how do you address, probably not a lot of people know about smoking and stuff like that, but so the weight issue with a client, say they're completely healthy, but based on the height weight charts, right? They fall into just maybe not even a bad, but a little bit lower, and they're like, and they look, they seem look and everything seems very completely healthy, but and obviously never done all those things that tear down the body so much. So other than the weight, how do you address that in a way that is honest, but
we're only
but that they can handle? I don't know, how do you address that?
Daryl, what were you saying, Daryl?
I always just smile and say, if you were only just 2 inches taller, the problem is you're a little short for this man, and laugh.
Oh.
That is definitely a good way to do it. I think when I addressed about them knowing in the database what is up with them, health questions and measurements, and I think you can throw it in there, and then they can try to be as accurate as possible. Here's what I do: I don't I don't put them on a scale. On a simplified issue, I do not put them on a scale. But I do say, okay, they know what your vitals are, and they know everything about your medical history. So when I ask you these questions, just know that we try to be as accurate as possible, and I just leave it at that. They tell me what they tell me, and then I write it down. And it's just, I'm not good at estimating weight anyway. So I'm not gonna say, ma'am, I know you say you're 275, but I promise you, I think you're 290. No, I don't say that.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I definitely, I wouldn't even. I go by I went by what she told me. And
yeah, I go by what they say.
Yeah, but by what they, but she was just a little bit. I mean, just basic average for today's world, but it's average is a little bit over. Is a little bit over ideal. So, sure. I think the mindset is that they have never done anything else. I mean, they've never done anything wrong, otherwise. And so, they don't smoke, they don't drink, they don't, you know what I mean? And they're active and stuff. So, to me, I feel like in their mind, they're thinking they should be preferred rate, and they're not because of the height weight. And especially if they're a shorter person, it's really, so much easier to pack on the pound.
Absolutely. Here's, by the way, too, if they say that they're very healthy, I will take them through. I promise you, I'll run them through the underwriting guideline for preferred plus. I check. There's a section in the Mutual of Omaha underwriting guideline that goes over what can bump them out. Family history can bump them out of the preferred, of those preferred plus, all those guidelines. And and you need to read the criteria. Like if they had a parent die of cancer, heart disease, stroke, or there's like 4 different things prior to the age of 60, there's no way in heck they're going to be able to get preferred plus or even preferred. And so I go over a family history with them. Those are additional questions I ask so I can knock them down in their expectations. And then I look at the height and weight tables so I can knock them down in their expectations. See, I want to prove to them that they're not as healthy as they say they are, okay, in a nice way. But it's like, so any parents that died of cancer, heart attack, stroke prior to the age of 60, and the guy goes, well, yeah, my dad died of whatever, cancer. He was 55. I shake my head, going, oh man. Okay. Is your what's your blood pressure usually run? Okay, there's other things in there too. Are you a private pilot? Do you fly? I mean, I go through that whole. There's like a list of about 10 items that would knock them out of preferred or preferred plus. I'll go through all those. Again, I'm trying to manage their expectations, and then the height and weight. I go, so you're 6'3", 245. Okay, let's look here. Okay, you see this table here? It says 6'3", and looks like standard plus is the best we can do for you here. So I'm knocking them down, man. I say, now, Joe, and then I protect my sale like this. I tell them, look, and these other companies, these other agents are going to call you, right? And they're going to do the bait and switch thing. Like, trust me, all these companies use the same underwriting guidelines and tables. They're all very close, within a pound or two. And so, they all use the same ones. So no matter what an agent may tell you on the phone, they're lying to you. Because I'm just even asking you here before your blood and urine test, and the best you can do here is standard plus, and this is the rate for that. That's the best. The worst could be standard, so here's a standard rating. Okay, but you're going to have other agents call you, and they're going to promise you the world, the moon, and I promise you, man, this is how it works. So that's how you protect your sale. By the way, this is Insurance 404. This is Insurance 101. Okay, but you got to understand that there is a way to do things and a way not to do things. The other thing too, run your risk assessments past more than one company. So if you've got a client that tells you they got this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and it's a $1 million policy or whatever, get an underwriting risk assessment from Foresters, one from Mutual of Omaha, because they'll do fully underwritten. I've not done with Transamerica. Has anyone gotten an underwriting risk assessment from Transamerica?
Well, that was the one that I did on that app that I did this week, that's showing for this week.
Okay, and you called underwriting for Transamerica?
Yeah, I called them.
Okay.
I called them before I went out there because I called on the husband, but then we couldn't do anything for him at all at this point. And so then, because of their situation, we went to the wife who was 65 and really had nothing except she did have some high blood pressure, but it's under control with medicine. And that was the only thing she had. And so I called them on her. And since I had just talked to them. And they were the lowest rates of anybody. And they put her on a I think it was a standard, I don't even think it was a standard. I can't remember if it was standard or standard plus rating because of her height, weight. Like I said, she was like me. She's shorter, and she's the one that I was talking about, where she, like everything was good, but the height, weight is actually what took her down a notch on the rating. Yeah. And I didn't come out and tell her that. I didn't tell her because they told me over the phone that was based on the height, weight. They knocked her down a notch on the rating, and I was like, I didn't say that to her. I just told her, I just gave him the rate. And
well, I would, Carol, I would not, because she's going to, like, if another agent calls and then they'll say, I can't believe you got that rate. I could do that better. Well, she's going to think that rate's the rate, but she's not going to know why the rate is the rate. I'll go over every reason why the rate's the rate, so that when another agent calls, it's all about protecting your sale. When another agent calls, and I will suggest to them, another agent's going to call you after I leave and after we do this application, and they're going to promise you all these great rates, but I've already done the research, and there's no way they're going to give you a better rate than this. I'll tell them straight up, because I talked to the underwriters already. They don't know anything about you, and they're going to promise you the world. Like, if we did a Preferred Plus on you, Mary, you see how cheap it is? Now, other agents are going to call you. They're going to do the bait and switch. They're going to tell you that rate, and they're going to make you go through all this blood and urine tests and everything, and then it's going to be the rate that I'm quoting you. Okay, do you see how that works? Yeah. And I go over that with them. Look,
what I did do was I did check some other rates, and I said in front of her, Mutual of Omaha is more, and like I went through like several companies. Just I didn't call the underwriting. I checked the rates before I even called the underwriting, and they were more. So and because of their situation, trying to get as much coverage as we could. That's the only thing I think she saw, that I was looking around for best rate and best. And Mutual of Omaha had been calling her, and she wouldn't ever respond to their calls. And then, but she took mine, so I don't know.
Okay, well, that's good. Well, okay, gang. So I hope y'all get me, because number one, you got to protect your sale, because some of you that are just brand new, once you have another NA agent replace your business, which will happen, I'll tell you right now that another agent will sweet talk that client into canceling your policy, and it is pretty slimy, right? But they're going to do it, and once you have another NA agent, let alone another agent from another agency replace your policy, then you're going to start understanding why I'm saying what I'm saying. And you probably, look, I know since a lot of you new people, you're so excited about closing your first application in the home that you don't have a chance to get jaded like us insurance agents that have been around for a while, okay? And so I know you're not going to do this. I know you're not going to say all these things I'm saying until you start getting your policies replaced by other agents, even NA agents. You're going to start to get policies declining on you. You're going to get people canceling on you without telling you why. And the reason why is because they went with another agent. You're going to get all this stuff happening to you. And then you're either going to quit, which most of you will probably do, and then those of you who start remembering what I'm saying will start implementing the things I'm saying, and then you're going to still be with us a year from now, 6 months from now. Does that make sense? So it's really up to you. I mean, I can't force you to do any of this. And you're going to be acting out of convenience. You'll be acting out of excitement. You're going to be acting out of all those things that you think you made a sale. But I promise you, it ain't done until it's issue paid and the client kept it for 13 months. It ain't done. And, in fact, I've had situations, especially with foresters, okay, after 3 months, someone canceled within 3 months. Foresters will take the entire charge back. You don't even earn 3 months of your commission. They'll take the entire thing away in the first 3 months because they consider it a no-take. I don't know why that is. Other companies will let you earn the 3 months on your commissions on your advance. Foresters is just tough that way. See, what other reality things I can give you? Like some of y'all, I hope you're not thinking about quitting right now but I'm telling you the realities of the world. You know, pretend I'm your dad and you're going out into the world and I'm on like my deathbed and I got to tell you some stuff before I go. Okay? You know, so don't quit. There's ways to be successful in this business if you implement the things I'm saying. So I'm at the bridge is out, and I'm flagging you down. Don't go down this road because you're going to go off a cliff. So I'm being very pessimistic and negative because I'm doing the negative thing on you so that you do the positive thing, which is not go down the road of an agent that will eventually quit because they aren't making money. Can I get an amen from at least one person?
Amen.
Amen. All right, Daryl. Good stuff.
Hey,
do you mind the Christian statement? Sam?
I just wanted to say I just, want to back you up 100% in everything that you're saying, man. And if people just implement what you're saying, it will change their life financially. More importantly, it'll condense time frames. They won't waste time with clients they can't help or cover. They can get home sooner to their family. They can get to the next appointment sooner. More importantly, their product, their placement, everything's going to be issued. If you're writing business, you should know 100% before you submit it that it's going to be issued. The only reason it wouldn't be is if the client lied to you. And if you do the things that he's teaching you, you're going to minimize those lies to a minimum because you're going to dig it out before. And more importantly, you're going to find if you're working B-Lead that the people that are going before you are not doing these things. And these people will realize that, and they're going to respect you more because you're more professional in the fact that you're there to serve and help them, not to sell them. So here's what I know after 11 years of doing this. I love what we do. We change people's lives and we help people, but the only way we help them is if we do our job. And our job is to underwrite the client 100% to make sure that family is protected when we leave, and that at the same time our family's protected because we're being paid. We're not just writing stuff so that we look good on a conference call. We're actually making the money. That's all I got.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate it, Daryl. That's coming from a voice of experience. And, Daryl and I, we've been around the ring around the rosy thing with the companies. And even companies that are doing simplified issue will tighten down on their underwriting standards because they don't want to issue as much business. And they'll start ordering a lot of interviews, phone interviews on their clients. You know who's notorious for that is Foresters and Mutual of Omaha. They'll start amping up telephone interviews where they call your client out of the blue and reconfirm everything on the application, and they're listening for the thing that will cause them to not move forward with the application. And when you start going through a round of that, then you'll learn right away that you need to go with another company that aren't doing a lot of phone interviews. Okay, so you got to be really savvy in tracking your business and whether or not it got declined based on phone interview. that they are random, quote-unquote, random phone interview. It's like a random drug test, right? Not too random, in my opinion. Okay? Okay, gang. All right, gang. Good stuff. Let's rock and roll. Take care. God bless. Bye now.
All right.